Hello everybody, this is KZ with your KZXcellent update and Q&A for June. That's right, it's been a month since our last one, and this time we got a lot more content done. Pretty proud of myself on this one. Very busy month, a lot of big things to check out, a lot of casual things to just kind of vibe with, and overall I think everything turned out real well, despite some issues here and there. So, let's talk. First up, I'd like to thank Patreon, patreon.com/KZXcellent. We do a Q&A at the end of each month. I put up a thread over there a few days before the month is over to let you guys know you can ask some questions. I delete that post once I have filmed this so that people know to not know that I've already taken your questions, and you don't want to, you'll know that you still have time if you still see that thing up. Unless you post something and then it disappears like an hour later. Then you're like, oh man, I might not have made it on the line. Either way, let's get right into it. $5 and above level over on patreon.com/KZXcellent if you want to join in on that. That'll be at the end of the video. Let's get started with what I usually do, talking through the past month of content. So, we did about 33 videos on the channel worth of streams and stuff. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think this is a really great month of content. I think I got back into my flow here, which I'm very happy about. Been in a bit of a funk recently, so I'm happy that we kind of really nailed it. Last update was way longer than usual. That's because I was recounting all of my apartment issues and nightmares. Not great. Pretty rough. But after that was done, first stream back, Metal Gear Solid 1, we finished that up. Yeah, very good. I really enjoyed that. Not a super big fan of the Metal Gear fight, but granted, most people seem to say it's incredibly hard and everything. And I was feeling pretty exhausted, a little irritable toward the end, but I think that came from the fact that I went through everything with the apartment thing and then streamed the first available day I could. Which probably, it's just you gotta get back to it. Overall, though, I really enjoyed it. Could definitely see myself really enjoying the Kojima-style game. I had already played Death Stranding 1. It was the first game that I played of his. It's nice to play some of his other stuff in preparation for that remake of MGS3, but more importantly, Death Stranding 2, his next big game. Next up, we did Mario Party Jamboree. We did celebrate Pride Month with a nice little game here. This one is, oh my god. This one has, it continues the continuity of me hating Aerie and Jordan. Goes kind of crazy. Then, I learned that they had really good cross-save and other setup stuff for the upcoming Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4, so I replayed Deltarune Chapter 1 and 2 on Switch 1. These were my last Switch 1 games I ended up doing. So we went through that. I had already played Chapter 1 and 2, but I only played them at release, so I got to do a fresh thing, me reading through all the dialogue, having fun with it. I think we had some pretty good bits in it throughout. Really enjoyed my time with that. Then it was State of Play time, where we were served up probably the best State of Play they've ever done. The reactions here, I decided I didn't do anything special with the thumbnails because I was trying to get the videos out, so I didn't do what I usually do of like trying to do a few cut-ins of a few different games that were featured and just picked like the highlight game. But really solid State of Play here. Like Luminous is back, we've got a new Suda51 game, Digimon Time Stranger, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. There's just a lot of really good stuff in there. The pacing was solid. It felt good. Honestly, it felt like Sony took all the Japanese games. Really. Like they grabbed all of them and they got them in their show. Which, honestly, good for them. They understand what we really need. Hold on. Yeah, we can roll this track. We can go to this. After that, we did Deltarune Chapter 3. We dug into that. This was on, like, Switch Eve, I believe, or, like, right before it. Where I was like, alright, I'll play it here, and then we can do Chapter 4 on the Switch too. And that'll be exciting. Really enjoyed this one. I feel like this will go down in history for some people as the filler chapter of Deltarune. Those people are insane. This was like that necessary, like, this is going to be the one where by the end you kind of you understand what they're starting to do. Like, it's that very key moment there. Really enjoyed it. It's very fun. It's a little less good to replay, because I had to replay it a couple of times to set up some Shadow Crystal boss stuff. But overall, really, really cool. I didn't know Toby Fox fucked with the turtles in Time Sound font like that. Next up, we did a Switch 2 launch stream. This one was a little mix. I showed off footage of Breath of the Wild with its 60 FPS update, Pokemon Violet, as well as playing with Jordan some Soul Calibur 2 and F-Zero on the GameCube stuff. And then we did our first session of some of the Mario Kart World stuff, which was nice. So that was fun. Just messing around with the new console, just putting it through its paces. Very happy with it overall. I did a midnight launch for it. It was a lot of fun. I went out there. It was wrapping around the street. They had food trucks out at like approaching like the 11 p.m. start time, because I'm in Central Time, so that's when they start the midnight thing. Came in, got my Pro Controller, SD card, and console. Was not robbed. We win. That was great. Then we had Summer Games Fest, which was very fine. When I said that Sony took all the Japanese games, that was almost entirely like true, because there's a lot of soft parts to this where it was just kind of gliding through a lot of games that I'm just like not gonna remember, or the 50,000 Souls games. This one's like my game where the color palette is gray and all you do is parry and roll is definitely gonna hit with the kids. But it did get to trick people to get overly angry and reactive in their reaction streams, going, I can't believe they announced an announcement of a trailer only for them to reveal Resident Evil 9 at the end of the show. That was great. Anything that punishes people to get overly angry at these shows watching them, I think is respectable. RE9 looks cool as hell. Pragmata is back. That's also sick. I forget if it was shown in this show or not, or if it was shown in some other one. Regardless, that got shown somewhere in this summer, and I'm very excited. It seems to have some, like, almost Twiwi-like gameplay in its combat of bouncing a couple of different... You're juggling a few different things together. Excited to see how that goes. But yeah, not Jeff's strongest show, but the Game Awards tends to be his better show overall. And maybe the Gamescom show can take the crown. It won't. It's either going to be his middle child or the worst one. We'll find out in August. Next up, we got Mario Kart World. This one is just me after Summer Games Fest. I just do the rest of the Grand Prix. If you want to see my reaction to the, I think, Mushroom and Flower Cup, they're in this stream. And in this one, I do the remaining ones. And it also has my first reaction to the Rainbow Road. So, definitely cool for that. Then we finally can return to Deltarune, because I finally got the Switch launch stuff out of my system. Played through all of Deltarune Chapter 4. I cut a part of this stream because I started crashing out on the Shadow Crystal boss fight in this, because it was, I didn't play the Genocide route. Alright? So I wasn't used to what some of the shit that they were doing there, in terms of difficulty, in terms of specific mechanics. Anyway, very difficult. But I did eventually get it. I basically just cut out the part after the first attempt, all the way to starting to where the final attempt came in. Crunched it out. Overall, really happy with Chapter 4. It's probably my favorite chapter from a narrative perspective, but I think my favorite overall chapter of just vibes has to be the second one. It could be because Birdley rules, and he's awesome, perhaps. Then, we did our Enter the Gamerplex segment. Someone had mentioned KZ last year for the 2024 Xbox E3, or Xbox Summer Showcase. You did the 2014 show before it, and I said, well, no, we got to do it again. So we did the 2015 E3 Showcase for Xbox, the iconic one where they showed you all the stars of Xbox, which had the Gearsman, and it had the Haloman, and it had a guy from Fable, a game that they canceled, as well as Lara Croft, a game they only had timed exclusivity on, and the last one isn't a person, it's part of a car. That was beautiful. Then after that, we saw the Xbox Summer Showcase. I decided to put Persona 4 Revival in the logo. I didn't have much of a reaction for it because we've been talking about it for weeks. And that trailer was terrible. It was really bad. It's like, look, we got them running and stuff. You go back, you watch that one, then you go watch the Persona 3 Reload one, where they're like, okay, scenes from the middle of the game with Aegis. Oh, they're running around in the school. Shop menus. Battles from upper blocks of Tartarus. Like, just fusion. Big awakening scenes. It's like, you're seeing various pieces of the game and a brand new song. This one was CG visuals and looks of a couple of locations and a song that's 13 years old. It's not to be mean at it. I feel like you could have done that opening main theme of Persona 4 with the logo, with more info to come or coming soon. I feel like that would have gone over better than the hire this man Unreal Engine fucking Soji Seta running. I decided to say that. Don't worry, I will not name him that. Maybe I'll name him Kenpachi Ramo-sama when it come out. We'll see. Anyway, it's obviously early on. I'm very excited for it. Persona 4 is my favorite of them. It's the first one that I played. I really enjoyed it. I like the vibes of the characters. I know they're going to recast everybody, given that all the voice actors said that was happening. But I'm fine with that. My love for the cast really comes down to the original PS2, and they recast so many people from that, either because they retired or they just, they just didn't come back. So that's fine with me. Then we started doing our Mario Kart World Viewer Races, because we can load 24 people up in them, so we did that. Very fun. Knockout Tour is amazing. Very fun to do. Then we started Metal Gear Solid 2. I was trying my best to avoid getting spoiled by my chat. They spoiled me immediately on this game. That's why it's 3 hours and 26 minutes. I immediately got pretty upset about it, and then just went, I don't want to have this feeling the whole stream, so we'll just stop now. But whatever. We then moved on to finishing up 24, which was longer than expected. But we did eventually do it. Very good time. Aside from the frame rate drops and some missions being a little bit too hard, pretty solid in terms of licensed games I've had to stream through. Another viewer race for Mario Kart. We continued Trails of Cold Steel 3. And really enjoying that. Not much to say about it, just that I'm really enjoying it, and I'm excited to play more of it this week. Then we did more MGS2. Chat, once again, they spoiled me. Sorry for the pause in the middle of the recording. Someone knocked on the door and I went, what the fuck is that? Once again, I got spoiled on a minor thing through memes of stuff, which was a little bit annoying. But aside from that, I think we had some pretty fun stuff here. Metal Gear Solid 2 was plagued by spoilers from my chat that really bummed me out in various ways. But I would say like 90% of these streams are good and have great moments in them. It's just those parts that kind of just like suck a lot of the air out of the room. So I just wanted to say that. In case we were like, I don't know if I should watch it. Like, no, they're fun. They're fun. It's just... that stuff really did cause a bit of damage to the whole thing. The second stream of MGS2 is when I switched to the difficulty and kind of like restart a little bit, I believe. And get back to where I was. It was a good idea. We had a much more smoother time. I do wish that the difficulty didn't nerf the bosses so much. My main issue was like I'm bad at stealth, but the boss stuff I kind of wish they still kind of hit me a little hard, but it's fine. It is what it is. Then I got back to doing supercuts, so I made one for 24. I was thinking about what are the things I really like, and I like editing the footage together to try and celebrate my streams and make them more easily consumable for the people that can't come out to see them. I've installed DaVinci Resolve as a new editor because I used Vegas on this one. An editor I've been using for, I guess it's been since 2008. And it's just running so bad. I can't do it anymore. So I'm switching to another editor, which is extremely difficult to learn because it doesn't do any of the things that I that I would count on for easy editing use with Vegas. It's like a third hand the way I would use Vegas. It's just very natural, just bop bop bop, just chopping things together, cross-fading and everything. I got to relearn this one, but everything about it is way better in terms of how it runs, and it renders everything extremely quickly. So I'm going to learn it. I'm gonna try and do maybe do a smaller, like maybe cut up one stream into a fun video. I'm thinking maybe this one. I was thinking about doing this and chopping that into a highlight video. But we'll see if whenever I have time, I will get into that. That said, I am getting closer to figuring out its workflow. Thankfully, I don't do complicated edits for my supercuts. It's just jump points to like various parts, so it shouldn't be too bad. Then we checked out the Donkey Kong Bonanza thing. I didn't get up in the morning for it, so I instead just, I had the tab open, so when I woke up, I could just go check it out. Very cool. That game looks amazing, as Donkey Kong is my favorite of the Nintendo, like, franchises, but I don't feel like it's been treated as well as it could have, in the fact that it kind of floundered a bit in gimmicks and obscurity after Rare left it alone. And Retro made a couple of good platformers for it, though the villains were a bit lame. But the last Retro one was 11 years ago, so it feels good that we got a Japanese Nintendo big team backing on one of these. So I'm super excited for next month. That's gonna be the game, man. Definitely one of those GOTY contenders. Just not number one. Trails of Cold Steel 3, we got a little bit more in there. We're gonna be playing this week, I'm sure. Had a great time there. Had one of our highest scoring Mario Party games. This was myself, Ultima, Jordan, and Airy. Definitely recommend people check that one out. Ooh, boy. Then we finished up Metal Gear Solid 2, and as I had said before, I was kind of like miserable during the final boss fight because people were like being way too spoilery, or I'll tell you what to do when you didn't ask for it, or I will tell you what scenes mean, or give you director's commentary on scenes as you're watching. I'm like, let me just kind of see it for the first time, guys. But overall, I liked that one. That's my favorite of the MGSs so far. Mainly because it's just really cool, and I can't... It's crazy how I missed out on all these people that said that Raiden sucked over the 2000s, and I'm like, man, it's crazy how many people were wrong. People weren't ready for good characters, I guess. Then we moved on to MGS3. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let the last thing we do be me upset in the credits talking about how my chat spoiled me on shit. I just put us on sub mode and said in the next stream, we're going to play MGS3. We knocked it out in 2 streams and had a great time. We just kind of pushed our way through. I really enjoyed it. I can see why that's the one that got the remake. It's not my favorite of them. In terms of style, music, and story, I'd probably put it at the bottom. But it's still good. It's just, I like the modern day, or the closer modern setting of the earlier ones compared to the jungles and stuff of like, of Russia and like Groznygrad and stuff in MGS3. But still great, you know? Also like the send-ups to like Bond movies and stuff like that. So that was fun. We did that over a couple of streams here. It's funny how they have like an Ava escort section, and it immediately feels significantly worse than the one that you do with Emma and MGS2. But I saw so many people complain about that one around the time it was out. I remember seeing webcomics, people complaining about like, oh my god, I gotta swim with this girl. It's the easiest swimming section I've seen in a video game. It came out in 2001. Like, what are we doing? Are you babies? What are you doing? Moving on from that, into the final march, we did one Mario Kart game with Freddy Fazbear in it. I highly recommend you watch this. One, because it is great. I got a migraine from it, and most importantly, it just goes well. You know, sometimes I worry that people think that I'm truly hateful to my friends when I put my ire upon them in these streams. But I'm sure some of them know what it's like to play it up a little bit. Except for Jordan. I'm being entirely serious. I think he hates me. All right, next up, Death Stranding 2. I did a death march of this as soon as the early access started, so we are already done. We did it in 6 videos, which would be 4 streams. This is stream 1. This is stream 2. And these are streams 3 and 4 respectively. Stream 3, after a little bit of this, we moved directly into Mario Kart. And then this last one, I won't hover in case there's a spoiler of some sort. No, we're good. Was the rest of it. I actually didn't know if we were going to be able to do all of it in one stream on the last one. But we kind of hit the end game stuff about halfway in, and I just kind of kept going. And it was paced so well. It was just great. I was like, I felt great. The vibes on these playthroughs were great. Viewership was low because a lot of them were in the middle of the night, and also my viewers tend to be a bit lower on new releases. But great. Unlike other YouTubers on here, did not mute a single track. And I ran the radio constantly. So you'll be able to hear plenty of Woodkid, Low Roar, Pecco, various other Grim, Churches, various other bands and stuff on Kojima's Spotify list in their original form. You do not, you're getting the pure experience, so do not worry about that kind of thing. So many other places like mute the songs. I'm like, I can't do that. The point of the scene is that song. I don't fuck with that. That's part of why I might not have streamed this. It was like, I don't know about the music. I'm like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna stream it once, upload them, see what it says, and all did was say, you can't monetize this shit. Except for the finale, which cannot be seen in Russia. But that's the thing YouTube does all the time, apparently. I don't really know why. Russia must have some very specific copyright issues where sometimes when certain things hit, they're like the only country that gets dinged. Anyway, we did it. We made it through a bunch of E3 shows, Mario Kart, Switch 2 launch, Deltarune, Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, Death Stranding 2, and then a little bit of Cold Steel 3 in there for good measure. Pretty pumped on how much we managed to do here. Let's move on to the Q&A. Of course, if you're on patreon.com/KZXcellent, you can toss at least $5 my way. You get access to a post where I ask you to ask me questions. I take them and attempt to answer them off the cuff here on the show. So here's what we got going in. First one's coming in from Kohi, I think is how I'd say that name. Worst Jordan Mario Party moment. I really hate why I said try to avoid favorite or least favorite X, and then someone immediately said, what's the worst war crime that he's done to you? And I'm like, you know what? Let's see. They're all like kind of similar in a way. I gotta say, worst thing he's ever done to me? That last Mario Party game. Go watch it, and you will immediately understand. Truly evil in every way. Shades of Near brought us a question. When will international organizations take action against Jordan's crimes? Not in this current presidential administration, I'll give you that much. Like, I'll tell you that shit for free. Next up, after the 24 stream, are you considering other PS2 licensed games to look into? Yeah, I'm always got something in my head of like, I'd like to do more stuff like that. PS2 was the era where we got so many really goofy TV and movie licensed games that also had sometimes the original voice, sometimes not. And the scope was a bit bigger. The PS2 is like the best generation for gaming where it's after they figured out 3D for the most part, so they could really like put something out there that with some substance. A lot of games based on cartoons, a lot of games based on movies and other stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely looking to do stuff like that. I want to break it up between some of the other stuff that you tend to expect, like the big games coming out yearly and some classics, but definitely want to get some of that in there for flavor. Dewilag with a question. What are some of your hopes and predictions for the rest of the Switch 2's first year? Alright, so far we've got Mario Kart World out. There's a couple of other things. They have the Welcome Tour, which I wasn't going to play. We have Dragix Drive, which I'm not really interested in, mainly because it doesn't have a really good visual style to it. It feels very un-Nintendo the way it looks. The functionality is great, but it's not like ARMS, right? Where that's doing a gimmick with the Joy-Cons, but has this immaculate look to it. This doesn't really have that, so I'm not too interested in that. The Mario Party update looks great. Be great if they added boards. That would like really help that. If there was like maybe one, amazingly two additional boards to play, but they do have mouse mini games that they're adding to it that seem to be in the rotation for the boards. We will find out. Regardless, it'll be in 4K, so I'm just excited how nice it's gonna look in July when we finally get to play some. Is Kirby Air Riders even set for this year? I feel like you know, some people were thinking it might be, but it was just a CG trip. But also, it could, you know, it could, but we'll see. Donkey Kong Bonanza, of course, very excited for that. That's gonna be great. Metroid Prime 4, I'm interested in. I'm not a hyper big Metroid fan, but I don't know, it looks cool. I like that they've set up a villain for over a decade, and the first time we've seen him in footage of this game, he's immediately getting owned. Fraud Watch, I gotta play just for Fraud Watch on Silex. I gotta check that shit out. People wanted him in Smash. Let me see. I'd like to see some sort of exclusive RPG on this system before the end of its first year, which it's got until until June of next year if we count first year. So that'd be nice. My other main hope for Switch 2, I need Xenoblade 2 to get its Switch 2 update, because I really want to replay it, and I really want it to look presentable. But aside from that, not really any hopes, because they gave me Mario Kart. The Metroid's coming out. The Donkey Kong is amazing. So I'm feeling content at the moment, but I do need at least one or two heavy hitters to pop up. I'm really hoping that we get something like truly like, oh damn, look at that. That's crazy. Really all eyes on the Nintendo Direct. I imagine that they'll either do next month or August for Gamescom. If I had to guess, I think because of the way the Switch came out at a time where they usually do big shows, I could see them doing a before Gamescom in August, a main direct that starts really fleshing out what we have to look at here for new Switch 2 stuff. I know some people are like they're a bit lighter on Switch 2 of like, it's not as exciting, you know, it doesn't have a killer app like Breath of the Wild or something. I'm like, I don't know, Mario Kart World is quite good. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, I feel like will fill that niche that people are kind of looking for. It also makes sense that they waited a month on Donkey Kong, because ultimately it became that thing of like, hey, if they didn't do that and they just had Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong at launch, people would be like, why is there a drought for like 2 months? You can't really win with like launch lineups. That and in a world where they're really mad at Nintendo for that, but need to remember what Xbox did. Remember when they launched a next-gen console in 2020 with 0 games? And then said, no, we have the largest launch lineup ever because Game Pass and backwards compat games. And I'm like, oh man! You're killing me! I've been talking for 25 minutes uninterrupted. I needed water. All right. Thank you, Devil Light, for that question. Skyfire Hero asks, if you're forced to be a Power Ranger but got to pick your color and the animal creature that your Zord is based on, what would you pick? Man, if I can't be the 6th Ranger, which is always the coolest one because they get the design that looks inherently better, I'd probably pick blue or green if I get to pick like the animal for it. Maybe like, I don't know, like a snake. We could probably do maybe like a snake or something with wings. Probably go for something like that. Don't want to be the red guy. Red guy gets way too much focus on them. Their plot might not be that good. We can't all be the one from Lightspeed Rescue that was constantly trying to save people, but to a degree of like self-sacrifice. Like he's pinned down on one monster kaiju dude, and then he has the cannon next to him, and it's just gonna kill both of them, but he's gonna get the job done. He tries to run over creatures with like a fire truck, I think, in that shit. Dude, he was awesome. That was one of my first. My first one was Lost Galaxy. And then I went back and, of course, you know, TV aired the old ones, but these were the ones where I, like, followed them actively. Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you, Skyfire Hero. Noble Brony 445 with any recommendations for good license-free music for streams I could look into. Sadly, that's one area that I do not really dig into, honestly, in terms of license-free. What I do is I just grab game music I like, and I use that. Which, you know, doesn't really ever get claimed for anything. Like, most people have moved on from, like, doing that for game music predominantly. Unless it's something that got remix albums, like the Kingdom Hearts songs, like Project Destati and other fan groups would reorchestrate the music and make their own albums, and then they would put it into the content ID. When it's stuff like that, you kind of have to just counterclaim it. Same with like Deltarune and Undertale music, where it just kind of it gets dinged by other things, and even Toby Fox has just said, just do a counterclaim, which is always good. If you get the content ID found, you can always counterclaim, and usually they'll let it go. Especially if it's just, you know, especially if it's in a case where it just came up in the game itself. But generally, I just use game music. That's so I have no guidance on license-free music type stuff. I've never really used it, because if I have music, I kind of want to use stuff that I like. Why have license-free music when I can listen to Battle Theme of Solemn Gus, right? Alright. So that being said, we're all done. That was our Q&A. Thank you so much. Really good questions on this. I liked this. Keep this up. Keep this up, guys. This is the first good segment of this. Like, first pilot one, I was a little shaky on it, because for some of the questions, I didn't know how to answer really well. Second one, we only got one question. And this one, nice smattering of stuff. There's stuff to talk about on that. I liked that a lot. You guys were awesome. Of course, patreon.com/KZXcellent, $5 and above level. You can do the Q&A. I post it a few days before the end of the month. I'll try and do it a little earlier next time. Give more people more time. But that will do it. That is that done and dusted. I'll go ahead and delete it now, as I am right here. Well, let's have a look here. What do we have? 40 minutes? 32 minutes. That's a little bit better. It was a busy month. I'm a little rambly. Anyway, I got more stuff to do throughout my day. I got to get groceries handled. Got to clean up the place a little bit. I wanted to add more music into the stream layout, because we have more that we could pick up, and maybe edit some stuff. Just kind of resetting my week before the next big week hits. Oh, I also have to make a schedule. I gotta make a schedule, because I did not do one this past week, or the week before, I think, just because of Switch 2 stuff, and I didn't know what was going on, and Death Stranding 2 was coming out. But now we're fine. But I forgot. You guys probably want to know what I'm doing next in terms of stuff. Well, let's see. I want to keep doing Cold Steel 3. I want to keep on doing that. I want to do Rido. Rido has been out. It's an SMT game, and I haven't been able to play any of it. So I'm going to pick that up, probably on Switch 2, and we're going to check it out. I think what I'm going to do for the first stream is I'm going to do a before and after, where I'm going to boot up my PS2 copy, which I do own, and we're going to play like 2 or 3 hours of it, and then we're going to swap to the new one, and then do a playthrough of it. But then that first stream will be the first couple hours of that to like compare and contrast the significance of the changes. Definitely not gonna play the same game fully twice, but I did think that I wanted to at least know. So we'll be doing that. So Rido, Cold Steel 3, probably some Gex stuff. Maybe the end of this July we can finally do Beyond Two Souls, which got delayed because of the sewage problems that I had. I need to start 100 line at some point. I've been giving you guys too much time. If I take too much time, people will spoil me on shit. So we're gonna try. We're gonna see what we can do there. Donkey Kong Bonanza's coming out. I want to do something where we play some Donkey Kong games before it. I play the DKC games all the time, but I would like to get some other stuff in there too. We'll see. We'll see if I have time. We might just replay Mario Odyssey as well, just because it looks like it's that dev team or a chunk of that dev team working on the new one on Donkey Kong Bonanza. But we'll see. That's kind of some of the stuff I kind of have planned, and also I want to get, and this is my goal, at least 2 highlight-ish videos to come out. I'm not going to give myself a large amount to do, but I want to at least get a couple of videos that have highlights on it as I try to learn editing again on this entirely new editing program. So those are my plans. That's what's been going on. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to this update video, and I will talk to you again probably tomorrow, because I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. Getting back into it. All right. Thank you, everybody.